Hello, you're listening to the Popcorn Conspiracy on CentralCoastRadio.com. I'm your host Kyle, and I'd like to talk about Fast X, the latest in the Fast and Furious franchise. This would be the 11th, the 11th installment overall, and the 10th mainline installment. Yep, the world's most extreme DVD player thieves are back for another round. Oh, it's been a quiet few years, and life is good for Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel. He has a loving wife in Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez, a healthy son called Little Brian, in this movie played by Leo Abello Perry, and he has a large extended quote unquote family, including Roman, played by Tyrese Gibson, Tej, played by Ludacris, his sister Mia, played by Jordana Brewster, and Han, played by Sung Kang, just to name a few. Now, the problem is, it's during these quiet moments that things tend to pop off for Dom and his crew. Now, in this movie, it centers around the revenge plot, which was, well, 10 years ago in Fast 5, Dom led a charge against a corrupt politician and drug lord in Rio de Janeiro named Herman Reyes, played by Joaquim de Almeida. Um, Now, in the end of this, Reyes was dead, his empire was in ruins, and Dom and his crew were $100 million richer. Now, it's been a long decade, but Reyes' son, Dante, played here by Jason Momoa, himself injured and maimed in Dom's attack, has been biding his time. Now, everything's all set. It's time for Dante to take his revenge finally, and he's going to take his revenge on everyone that Dom holds dear. Just like his daddy taught him, the best revenge isn't over quickly, it's carried out slowly and painfully. Now, without a hint of shame whatsoever, I absolutely love the Fast and Furious series. Like few film franchises I find can keep me really entertained after just two installments, let alone let alone after 10. Um, Now, as the ensemble cast has gotten larger, the storylines have gotten less believable. They've just gotten crazier and crazier as they've gone on, and I've been there the whole time. I've enjoyed them the entire time. Really, the only Fast and Furious movie that I even just looking back on, I can say that I'm not really a fan of was the spin-off movie Hobbs and Shaw, starring Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. I love Dwayne Johnson movies. I love Jason Statham movies. I love both of their characters in the Fast and Furious movies. But just that film in particular, I thought that there was a lot of redundancies in that film. Like, oh, well, not redundancies, but a lot of things that I've seen before, either in the Fast and Furious movies or in other movies. Um, I mean, something that what's kept me interested and what's kept me such a fan of the franchise over the last 20 years is the way that the various filmmakers who have the various directors and different people writing the movies, they've got this ability to almost consistently surprise me with these creative action set pieces and to show me something in the movie that I've never seen before. Like, that's something that I really enjoy about these movies and why I think they stand out to me so much. And unfortunately, with Hobbs and Shaw, I just didn't get it. But this film it's right on the good side of of that. There's amazing stunts and crazy scenarios from start to finish in this movie. The film's predecessor, you would say it flew a little bit Too Close to the Sun. Fast 9. It was well, it flew too close to the sun, somewhat literally, I guess, when two of the characters actually went into space. That was something that people were making fun of before that movie. The idea that the films had gotten so crazy and become these kind of like insane, high octane James Bond like movies, and well, they haven't gone into space yet, and now they have. So, but I know that for some fans that was kind of a little bit too much. So this movie I find really kind of pulls back a lot, and they're much more. It's much more grounded this time. I mean, the action is still impossibly over the top. It's still insane, but I think this time the director Luis Leterrier, who was the director on who I've been a fan of a lot of his movies. He was the director of the first two Transporter films, and like he knows how to keep us engaged with insanely over the top CGI car stunts. And well, like this movie has quite a decent mix of practical effects, like practical car stunts and CGI. So I admit I was on the edge of my seat the whole time watching the movie, where other CGI heavy films, such as a lot of well MCU superhero films, those kind of movies, when they're CGI heavy, I just feel nothing because I feel like I'm not looking at anything real. Like those movies never draw me in, but this one really did grab me. And even when the CGI is a little bit over the top, and the stunts, of course, totally insane. I mean, people are laughing in the cinema at them, but they're just so fun, and I think yeah, just the film just keeps you a lot more engaged here than a lot of other special effects heavy films do. Um, I mean, the Fast and Furious films, they've always had really great cheesy villains, and many of many of them are so beloved by fans that they return in later films, kind of as allies to the heroes. And this movie is no different, with Charlize Theron's Cypher character kind of being uh, something of a tentative ally to our heroes. But the main villain in this movie, played by Jason Momoa, is I'm sure he's sure to rank up as one of the favorites of the entire franchise, with his this really kooky portrayal of this character Dante Reyes. Like he's just this absolutely unhinged and unbridled madman who, like, unlike something that we saw with pretty much all the other villains throughout the franchise, is they're also tough and they're also serious, but Dante is just he's having so much fun being a baddie. Like he's having as much fun being a villain in a Fast and Furious movie as the audience is in watching a Fast and Furious movie. And that's something that I think really, I mean, it really can, I don't know, it just makes him such an interesting twist on like a villainous character in this franchise. Momoa, uh, in fact, he's so good in the movie that I think he actually it works to the detriment of some of the franchise's new cast additions. Like Brie Larson's somewhat redundant government agent character that she's playing in this, nicknamed Little Miss Nobody. She's supposed to be Mr. Nobody's daughter. It's kind of a redundant character. Scott Eastwood's character, Little Nobody, was already a replacement for Kurt Russell's Mr. Nobody character, so that would make Brie Larson's character kind of a replacement for a replacement in this movie. And she almost kind of complete like she disappears completely in Jason Momoa's shadow. Just for him for these two new additions to the franchise, one of them just is larger than life. The other one, you forget that she's even in the movie, and I don't know. It's hard to realize that when you think, wait, she actually has an Oscar, and you're just totally forgetting about her in this movie. And but that might also be because of the script of this film. Like, unfortunately, the writing here it runs somewhere between lukewarm and terrible. There's these larger than life characters having these conversations throughout the film, which sound almost like a parody of action movie dialogue. Like when you see in a movie the characters watching a dumb action movie, and the dialogue on the TV is just completely idiotic. That's what this movie sounds like sometimes, unfortunately. It does get a little bit later. It does get a bit better later in the film, I think. But until then, certain actors like Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris, they're able to carry scenes a lot better than some of the other actors. Um, it's a pity that the dialogue is so weak because I really like the storyline of this film. It really is kind of a we talked about this earlier. Um, it real Fast X really is something of a direct follow up to Fast Five with this revenge plot, and the callbacks in this film work a lot better than other prior installments have done when they've tried to do callbacks to previous films. Like, I also think it's an impressive utilization of all these key players, so all the different characters in the movie, so nobody really feels left out or pushed aside. Um, this is apparently going to be the first. This Fast X is the first part of a three-part finale epic. Apparently, so there's quite a long road ahead, and I really enjoyed this film. I'd say I really did enjoy this film as a fan. It really is a turn your brain off movie. I know that's kind of a cliche, but it really is. And there's shortcomings in this movie that I don't think it's going to convert anybody who's not already a fan of the franchise. But um, I think fans of the movies, if you are a fan of the movie, if you've enjoyed the franchise up until now, there's plenty of fuel left in the tank. This movie gives you exactly what you want as a fan, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5. So check it out. You're listening to Popcorn Conspiracy on CentralCoastRadio.com, and we'll be back right after this.